Yo, what up? It's RAMCPU, and here to talk a little bit about Halo Infinite and what's been going on with the game. Now, if you've been on the internet recently and you play Halo, I'm sure you've heard the news that the Halo subreddit was locked by the mods of that subreddit because one of the 343, community managers, that are behind Halo went to the game. Or went to the subreddit rather, and they dropped a message, a really, really, really long message about, how they agree with most of the community about how the microtransactions and the battle pass is a little bit too much, but while at the same time, quote, this is a business, we have to make money. It was a very, very long message. I'm not going to go into the details of it because you guys can easily Google it or go on YouTube and watch the other people who, go into detail about these situations, and they take clips of the actual conversation. And the reason why this guy from 343 decided to go on and talk about this stuff, from my understanding, is because, the community, so-called the Halo community, was so, upset about what's been going on with the game and the rollout and the lack of content, everything. They're mad about everything, and I respect it, to some degree, because one YouTuber I was looking at, he made a really good point. He said, people sometimes play the game to customize. Like, that's one of the ways that they express themselves in the game, and of course that's obvious, right? Like, you express yourself through customization, but for some people, that's the number one reason why they play Halo. You know what I mean? Like, it's to customize their character, to express themselves in colors, and I like doing it too. And it is kind of a shame that the thing that some people enjoy most about Halo is now locked behind a paywall, which is just choosing a different color. Whereas back in the day, you loaded up Halo 2 on your original Xbox and you could pick any color you wanted, So I do kind of understand the frustration with that. I don't know if it necessarily warrants people going really, really off on the Reddit, on the subreddit, and calling people names or whatever else usually happens on the internet. But I also don't think that warrants, you locking the subreddit. Like people have the right to speak their mind, even if they're speaking crazy, or even if they are upset. People have the right to be upset, and I think that on the subreddit, they do have their own rules and regulations that the moderators, abide by, what have you. But, and it's not really, I'm not really in the subreddit like that, but my personal opinion is that it's not cool to just shut the conversation down. That just seems like a not cool way to go about, governing or, leading the conversation by example. So, I wasn't really with that. But that's the world we live in nowadays, where YouTube removes the dislikes because they're concerned of attacks. And the guys or whoever who are moderators of the subreddit, they ban the conversations because they want to monitor attacks. It's just not really cool, And, I could go into detail more about it and to the names of the people involved, but I really don't want to do that on my channel. I really don't want to get into the specifics, but just give you my take on that, and give you my flavor on that situation and how I feel about it. Let the people talk, let them be mad, and let 343 or whoever is in charge, respond with great content and a great aspect of the game. Now, one thing I will say, because my first video about Halo content was mostly positive. Y'all should check that out. This video, I do want to kind of talk about the concerns. The number one concern I have with Halo Infinite right now, as fun as it is, y'all should have never released this game without Slayer. Y'all should have never released this game without Slayer. Y'all should have never, ever even released this game without a Slayer playlist. And the reason why I say that is because the guy took to Reddit from 343 and was like, it's not so easy to just make a Slayer playlist. We have certain... He just basically was making excuses on why they couldn't do it. Why it's not there, basically. And why it more than likely won't be there on the release date in a couple days. And I'm like, as many other YouTubers and content creators have put out there, why did y'all release the game then? Like, that is a big mistake. Like, of course, the microtransactions as they call them, or the paying for armor coatings and what have you. People don't like that. You guys know that Halo is Slayer multiplayer. That's what makes Halo so much more legit than every other multiplayer shooter. Is that it's got these sort of close quarters, 4v4 typically Slayer matches, and y'all don't have Slayer on the game? Like, come on. I mean, it's on there, but you have to play through a bunch of eyeball matches and strongholds to get to it. They should have never did that. And I'm just gonna keep saying it. They're wrong for that. Y'all 343. Y'all wrong for not dropping Slayer with this game. If the cosmetics you gotta pay for them, I'm cool with that to some degree. But come on, that's just wrong. But overall, the game is still dope. You can't. And here's my theory. Here's my hypothesis on what's gone on. And I've had experience in the gaming industry, and I know a lot of people in the industry as well. I think that they probably were like all hands on deck to make the gameplay as incredible as possible. They probably got all the, pro players in to just make the gameplay amazing. And then the cost of that though was they were going to really monetize almost every aspect of the game from a customization standpoint. That was the trade-off, was to make something that that really stuck gameplay wise, but the cost of that was how do we integrate a system which lets the whales, the people spending a bunch of money, buy everything a million times over. Because I know, certain games that you wouldn't think are that popular, the reason why they're still operating is because there's whales that are buying, that cosmetics in their game. And Halo has potential, and probably already is, making way more money than that, than some of the other games that are still operating but are charging for content. You know what I mean? So just think and I wonder if somebody's going to pull it up, the numbers on how much, they've already made on Halo and how much they could make on it in the future. So just something to think about, you know what I mean? And just showing some of my gameplay. I appreciate everybody, checking out the video. Please share it and give me a like and a subscribe, support the channel. Out.